Joining us on the program now from weatherwatch.co.nz, Phil Duncan. Kia ora, Merry Christmas. I must say you're looking quite relaxed and summery. Is that bode well for the season ahead?
Yeah, I'm already giving up on the whole dressing up for work thing. I've reached that time of the year. So I still wore a suit jacket and a shirt for my video today.
Nice, nice. Well, it is the Friday Eve of all Friday Eves, the Friday Eve before Christmas. So that bodes well. What's Christmas Day looking like? Last time we were chatting, you were perhaps optimistic. Can we lock in something a little bit more scientific this week?
Yes. So what we're likely to be seeing on Christmas Eve, before we get into Christmas Day,
Yep.
Christmas Eve, there's a really quite a big low that's going to form in the southern Tasman Sea and head towards the South Island's west coast. So they're likely to see rain clouds building on the west coast on Christmas Eve, but the rest of the country, eastern parts of the South Island, all of the North Island, they're looking dry or mainly dry on Tuesday of next week, Christmas Eve, with a warm west to northwest wind developing.
Okay.
As we go into Christmas Day, though, that rain that's on the west coast and that low that's out in the Tasman is trying to move into us. It's trying to move further across the country.
Yep.
So at the moment, the modelling that I looked at this morning shows it starts off dry in many parts of the North Island, but then as the day goes on, in comes this rain band or showers from out of the Tasman Sea. And so it might be a day where you wake up, it's dry at first, and then it gets cloudy, and then we get some wet weather. But it all depends on the high that is exiting the country to the east.
Yep.
And so that holds on just a little bit longer, it puffs up just a little bit more. That could make the day drier. And likewise, if it shrinks or moves away a little faster, that rain's going to move in quicker. So we know rain is trying to move in. We know that the day before is looking more settled. But Christmas Day, there will still be a little bit of a question mark on the timing of that rain band. Will it arrive and make for a wet Christmas lunch, or will it save itself till nighttime when fewer people care?
And hey, you've still got time to change the plans. I mean, a Christmas Eve party. I mean, that's the Christmas Eve barbecue. We can lock that in right now. Christmas Day, well, results may vary. And hey, don't adjust your set. Weatherwatch.co.nz. For the summer that follows, though, I mean, it's looking pretty well. And as you say, spring's been hanging on as we've been rolling through December. But are we talking tank tops and jandals? Am I looking for singlet marks on my shoulders and jandal marks on my toes by the time I get to February?
Well, at the moment, I would still, even with this heat we've had, I would still say the weather pattern we've been getting has been spring-like.
Okay.
Now, you can certainly argue that the temperatures have not been spring-like. They have been, for the most part, I do appreciate there's been some colder areas, but we've been seeing temperatures over 2 degrees above average for the last month. That is well above normal.
Yep.
Even 1 degree above average is a lot. And so 2 degrees is showing it's been warmer. But then you go to the other end of the country, and they had a frost in Southland yesterday.
Wow.
So, you know, that's not summer usually. We don't think of frosty weather, but that's what we're having. So there are two things to talk about as far as the summer weather pattern. We've got this ongoing bubbling conversation about whether La Nina is going to happen or not. And then the other side of it is what's going on in the Southern Ocean.
Yep.
So the storms in the Southern Ocean are still around, and they're still big and powerful, but there are bigger gaps between them and more calm spells south of us. That gives us more days in New Zealand that don't have rain.
Mm-hmm.
The other side of it is the tropics are building up more energy, and we're seeing that with more low pressure and more subtropical winds this week. So that means going into January, I think we've still got variety, but we might not have quite so many of those stormy events from the Southern Ocean. But I still think this is going to be a messy summer. I don't think my gut feeling is it's not going to be long stretches of high pressure over us. But our mountains and ranges can give some regions long stretches of dry, sunny weather still, even if on the other side it's not.
Well,
so I think we can see a lot of that this year. As you said in the intro, some people are getting summer heat, others aren't.
Yeah, exactly. Now, hey, but most of the people this summer, they're not heading to the mountains and the ranges. They're all heading to the coast. Well, perhaps the Central Otago Lakes would be the exception to that. But for most people, they're wanting to head somewhere to get wet. And that's the other thing about summer, I suppose. As we push through the summer months, the water temperatures are increasing slightly. I mean, pick your spot. But I don't know, have you been for your first swim of the summer yet, Phil?
No, I haven't yet. I haven't. I'm a bit slow, and I should do. It's been so warm, but I haven't been able to get out of Auckland, and I live near Waitemata Harbour, which is,
Oh yeah,
I
don't
don't want
swim
to
there.
jump into
Don't
that.
do it. Don't do it.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah. I used to when I first moved to Auckland, but that was
yeah.
20 years ago. I don't think I'd do it now. Haven't jumped in there, but you've got plenty of time. We are still January, February, March, 3 months away from when sea temperatures reach their peak. So
Yeah,
we've still
yeah,
got
exactly.
plenty of time. And then if you're brave, you can still keep going into April and May, where it's probably similar to what we've got now.
I mean, exactly. There's one thing about having a sunny day, but a sunny day and going for a swim at the beach and it's absolutely freezing and just come out shivering and covered in sand. But actually looking forward to later in summer when you're going, you know what? It's like a warm bath. The temperature outside is similar to in the water. That's what summer's about for me. We can expect a little bit of that later in the summer, perhaps.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, the fact that we're getting all this heat now so early in the season doesn't always remain, though. But
Yeah,
it's a sign that certainly at the moment, the way the weather patterns have aligned themselves, we're getting plenty of injections of heat, with the exception of Southland and Otago, who have
yeah.
been off and on with it. But I just want to just quickly mention that you're talking about the temperatures. It makes me think of it being at primary school, starting swimming in the
Yeah.
pool.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
When it was this month, it was horrible. December was horrible. The water was always cold. It was always a warm day, and it was always a bit windy. Then you'd fast forward to February, and man, that swimming pool was the best thing in the world. It
Best thing
was
ever. Yeah.
always warm, and it was always perfect. So
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Always a little bit too much chlorine. But
yeah,
apart from,
it's,
and there was
yeah.
reasons for that. Hey, what does, just at a personal level, Phil, what does summer look like for you? I mean, no rest for the weather forecasters, but are you getting a bit of a summer break? You're going to find a beach somewhere and be able to relax over summer?
I don't know really what I'm doing this summer because I've decided, me and also Sean, who's one of my partners here at WeatherWatch, we
Yep.
both went. We're working through December this year. We
Hmm.
didn't last year. This year we're doing that. As far as January's concerned, I've got my fingers crossed that we get a big period of high pressure, so I can actually take time out because, like many businesses this year, we don't have. We've lost staff. We're not as
Yeah,
big as we were.
yeah.
I'm doing a lot more work than I ever did, and so a stretch of dry weather where I don't have to do anything. That's my Christmas gift that I would love. And then I can just blob around the garden and play Flight Simulator. I'm one of those people that I grew up with a family that are all sporty,
Yeah.
and I'm the one kid that's always wanted to be indoors on a sunny day. I still go out, but I love to come back in again.
Phil, we want our weatherman to be a little bit nerdy, you know?
Good.
And that's important. And it's also good to know that the weatherman is also hoping and praying for a sunny summer. So I do hope that your prayers get answered in that regard. Thank you so much for all that you've brought to the show throughout the year. We really appreciate it. Of course, encouraging people to check out the details of the weather right through summer at weatherwatch.co.nz. Merry Christmas to you and yours. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you and all the listeners. Really appreciate the support this year.
Hey, thanks very much for joining us in the Rhema studio. Thanks very much for watching the interview. It's kind of nice to have an audience, actually. And if you did like what you watched, then do give us a like, do give us the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more interviews like that one, or perhaps even better, subscribe and those interviews will come straight to you. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.